Hey, so I wanted to talk a little bit about something that uh, is a goal of mine, sort of like an underlying goal of mine when I work with clients on a one-on-one relationship. Realistically, just coaching anybody, but in that coaching model, the ID coaching model, and it's not a goal I talk about with a client, but it is something that is just like I said, an underlying goal, and that is empowering the client with skills and knowledge. I want the client, I want whoever I'm working with to at some point feel as if they can take care of their self. This is all in context to health and fitness without a coach, right? So I want them to feel like, oh, you've helped me build new or obtain new tools and have the skills to use them, so that if I was on my own, I could manage my training, my nutrition and my lifestyle parameters that are all in context of just general health and fitness on my own and do well and be self sufficient in that manner. And I think one of the things that you want to know in that process is that a coach is always going to be beneficial for somebody to have, because we might have very nuanced knowledge about something that will always be helpful for somebody. Even if you're a coach yourself, you're going to benefit from a coach, because the perspective and the bias, you can't really overcome that. So there's always going to be periods of time throughout your life that you could have a coach. And I personally think that people should invest in coaches long term. And that doesn't just mean consistently long term. Like, you sign up with a coach and you stay with that coach for 20 years, or you stay in the coaching ID coaching atmosphere for 20 years straight. If you need to back away from it, financial reasons, time reasons, whatever, or you just want to experiment on your own, it doesn't matter. But I do think you should stick with a coach long enough that you can extract a bunch of information from them. And if you find somebody, a coach that is very knowledgeable and fits in your style well, try to stick with them long term, meaning like work with them. If you need to back away for whatever reasons and then come back in the future and you have this long term relationship, is that the more that coach knows about you, the better they're going to be able to give you knowledge and skills to continually elevate your life. And remember that this is a dynamic system. This is not, hey, I teach you something now at the age of 25 that you're going to be able to use when you're 50, because you might right now be single, no kids, putting all your energy into your job and career, maybe travel and having fun. But 20 years from now, you might have kids, a family, a different job, different lifestyle, and those tools and skills that you had 20 years ago might not apply as much, or they just apply differently. So that's why I'm saying it's good to have those skills and that knowledge updated over time. And the more a particular coach knows you, the easier that's going to happen. If you jump from coach to coach, just like in general programs or gyms, you jump from gym to gym, you have to always go through this acclimation process of getting to know that person. Um, and that takes time. And there's not a ton of benefit at that beginning stage. You're learning about them, and then what if you learn about them and like six months later, like this isn't what I wanted. So once you get a coach that has given you those tools and those skills to go out on your own, you would want to come back. You should probably look at the same coach or similar coaching styles. But that is a huge underlying goal of mine, is to make sure that the people I'm working with develop skills and tools to be self sufficient. I am not looking to work with somebody for 10, 20, 30 years straight. I would love for the people I work with to come back to me in the future whenever they have the time, the money, the interest. I understand that when you have to break away, there there's a lot of reasons for that, but that is my underlying goal. I do not feel like I should be holding your hand. And this conversation just came up recently with a client that I was working with, and I only worked with him for 6 months, but he was so engaged in the process. He stayed on his daily communication with me. He did every single consult as much as he could with me. He logged his stuff. He put in the work to get to know me, to allow me to get to know him, to benefit from the program as much as possible. And he learned so much in 6 months that, when something came up, because of a job change for him, he couldn't continue the coaching process, but he felt self-sufficient enough that he can maintain what we were doing and even progress from there on his own. And already expressed interest that he would love to work with me again in the future if that opportunity comes his way. But that was my goal. That felt so good to hear somebody say that they felt like they've learned so much from the process that they can do things on their own for themselves, and then um, the interest of coming back. Right. That to me is an enormous success for myself. Down the road, maybe I'll make some videos of what I do personally to help that process. And it's something that this client specifically even said to me. And I'll, go over that now real quickly. Is just, I don't hold people's hands, or I hold them or put them on the leash as little as possible. I want people to be independent. I don't, if I feel like this process is me holding somebody's hand or walking them on a leash during it, I'm always pushing them to get off of that feeling. I don't like to work in that environment because for at least a long period of time, I understand that there are periods of times that needs to happen, but um, yeah, I'll make some videos in the future of what I do and how I approach that and how I kind of build that relationship that they feel like they can trust me to guide them without holding their hand.